The parade ground of Veli's Prime shimmered beneath twin suns, its crystal stone surface reflecting banners of the Dellarin Empire. Thousands of alien citizens filled the terraces, their elongated silhouettes and jeweled eyes turned toward the central platform where the Empire displayed its military might. This was a day of pride, tradition, and, most importantly, judgment. At the center stood Princess Salith of Dellarin. She was 19 cycles old, newly ascended into political adulthood, her silver-blue skin glowing beneath ceremonial robes woven with living light. Her posture was flawless, her expression sharp with youthful confidence bordering on arrogance. Today, she would address the foreign envoys and inspect the representatives of allied and conquered races, including the human. Private First Class Jonah Reed stood alone at the far end of the platform, encased in bulky, scarred combat armor painted in the dull gray of Earth's coalition forces. His helmet hid his face, visor dark, posture perfectly still. He looked like a machine, out of place among the elegant alien forms. Princess Salith's gaze lingered on him longer than on the others. "So," she said, her voice amplified and smooth, carrying easily across the arena. "This is the human soldier." A ripple of quiet amusement moved through the crowd. "I was told humans were formidable," she continued, circling Jonah slowly. "But all I see is a creature hiding inside metal. Does your species crumble without its shell?" Laughter followed, polite, controlled, but unmistakable. Jonah did not move. Salith stopped in front of him, tilting her head. "Can you even survive our world without that armor, human? Veli's Prime's gravity is heavier than yours. Our radiation stronger. Our air less forgiving." She smiled, sharp and satisfied. "Or are humans only brave when wrapped in machines?" The Dellarin nobles watched closely. This was not just mockery. It was a test. If the human responded with anger, he would prove himself primitive. If he stayed silent, weak. Jonah Reed reached up slowly and unlatched his helmet. The crowd fell quiet. His face was young, barely older than the princess herself. Dirt-streaked, scarred at the jaw, eyes tired but steady. He inhaled deeply, testing the alien air, then exhaled without difficulty. "It's breathable," he said calmly. "A bit dry." Salith's smile faltered. Jonah then reached for the seals on his chest plate. "What are you doing?" one of the generals hissed. Princess Salith raised a hand, curiosity flickering in her eyes. "Let him." Piece by piece, Jonah removed his armor. The chest plate hit the ground with a heavy clang. Then the arm braces. The leg guards. Finally, he stood in nothing but his undersuit, thin, worn, clearly not designed for protection. The gravity pressed down on him immediately. Several aliens leaned forward, expecting him to collapse. Jonah staggered, just slightly, then straightened. Sweat beaded on his forehead. His muscles tensed. His breathing deepened. But he stayed standing. Princess Salith's eyes widened despite herself. "You're unprotected," she said. "Why would you do this?" Jonah looked at her, meeting her gaze without flinching. "Because you think the armor makes me strong," he said. "It doesn't." He took a step forward. The ground cracked faintly beneath his boot. Murmurs rippled through the stands. "That's impossible," a noble whispered. "Humans aren't rated for this gravity." Jonah took another step, then another. Each movement was deliberate, controlled, fueled by strain and discipline rather than ease. His heart pounded like a war drum in his chest, but his eyes never left the path ahead. Princess Salith felt something unfamiliar twist in her stomach. "Stop," she said, more sharply than intended. "You'll injure yourself." Jonah halted. He turned back to her. You asked if we crumble without our machines, he said. I wanted you to see the answer. The silence was absolute. Salith descended from the platform, her robes brushing the ground as she approached him. Up close, she could see the effort it took for him to stand, the trembling in his legs, the tension in his shoulders. And what is the answer, human? She asked quietly. Jonah smiled faintly. We adapt, he said. We endure. That's how we got off our planet. That's how we survived worlds that wanted us dead. He glanced around at the towering architecture, the advanced technology. And that's how we stand here now. Something shifted in the air, not physically, but culturally. The Dellarin Empire valued elegance, efficiency, and superiority. They had conquered through technology and strategy. Endurance without enhancement was considered primitive. Yet here was a human, stripped of every advantage, standing on a world not meant for him, simply because he refused to fall. Princess Salith straightened. You are mocking him, one of the elders murmured to her through a neural whisper. Be careful. Salith ignored them. She raised her voice so all could hear. Human, she said. What is your name? Jonah Reed, he replied. Jonah Reed, she repeated slowly. You have embarrassed my court. Gasps followed. And in doing so, she continued, you have taught us something we forgot. She turned to the crowd. We believed strength was built only by design, that survival must be engineered. Her gaze returned to Jonah. But some species become strong by suffering. A strange, electric silence followed. Salith stepped closer and, to the shock of everyone present, removed the jeweled circlet from her brow, a symbol of rank. She held it out to Jonah. In Dellarin custom, she said, this is given to one who demonstrates a truth the court cannot deny. Jonah hesitated. I didn't come here for honors. I know, Salith said softly. That is why you deserve it. He accepted the circlet carefully, hands shaking, not from fear, but exhaustion. Only then did he finally sink to one knee. Medics rushed forward, but Jonah waved them off until Princess Salith nodded. As he was helped back into his armor, Salith watched him with an expression no one had ever seen on her face before, respect. Later that night, as Veli's prime sun set and the city glowed with bioluminescent light, Jonah stood on a balcony overlooking the alien capital. His armor was back on, but unsealed, helmet tucked under his arm. Princess Salith joined him, hands clasped behind her back. You could have died today, she said. Jonah shrugged. Wouldn't have been the worst place. She studied him. Why did you really do it? He thought for a moment. Because every time humans enter the galaxy, he said, someone thinks we're nothing without our tools. I wanted you to remember us, even when we're barehanded. Salith nodded slowly. The Council will speak of this for generations, she said. You changed how my people see yours. Jonah looked out at the stars. Good, he said. Because we're not going anywhere. The 19-year-old alien princess, who had mocked a human soldier that morning, now stood beside him in silence, no longer looking down at him, but out at the same horizon. And for the first time in Dellarin history, humanity was not seen as fragile, but as unbreakable.